Good afternoon, Odysseyers. Thanks for being part of the channel, and thanks for subscribing and watching the videos and sharing them. I want to thank also a ton of people who've been sending me so much emails, so much message, so much information. Our Discord is overflowing with a wealth or a fountain of information. Well, what do we have to talk about? Well, I've received 13 emails, so I compiled them into one video on food shortages. Everyone's worried about food, and remember, everything is logistics, right? Point A to point B. If they want to raise the price of food, they blame it on the price of oil going up, and production and transportation costs more. We talked about that like 5 years ago on this channel. Let's look at what's happening right now in Middle America, New Zealand, Australia. Well, let's see what's happening in the Commonwealth and why food prices might spike and keep going to uncharted territory. Here it is right here. This was sent to me by someone living in the northwest of the northeast of the United States. The Wisconsin State Farmers reporting that rural population losses add to farm and ranch labor shortage. So what is rural population losses? Well, they're saying that people aren't living in the small towns. That's dangerous because that's not true. People are leaving the big cities. Remember, we discussed Amerifornia on this channel in great depth, where people will be leaving the cities because they can't afford to live in the cities they were born and raised in. And that happened when Biden was selected. Not elected, but selected. Big difference, right? President-elect. And Amerifornia is pushing people out of the big cities because they can't live in them. So think that this is as big as a problem as they're making it. Rural America has lost more population in the latest census, highlighting an already severe work shortage in the nation's farming and ranching regions and drawing calls from the industries for immigration reform to help ease the problem. So there it is right there. They're blaming immigration reform. There's a lot of countries blaming the same thing. So in New Mexico, populations declined across 20 rural counties that stretch from the Great Plains of Oklahoma to the U.S. border with Mexico. Desperate for laborers for its annual chili harvest, the state this week pledged up to $5 million in federal pandemic relief, subsidized wages for pickers and workers at the chili processing plants, boosting available wages as high as $19.50 an hour American. I feel sorry for someone working minimum wage in Canada. Wow. All right, what's going on here? There are fewer people in rural America. That's a problem for ranch and farm labor. So this is being spread across Omaha. Rural America lost more population in the latest census. So it's basically the same, but it goes on to say in rural areas, if you didn't have the Latino growth, employers would be struggling even more just to fill those positions. So why is what is really happening? Why are the Americans not wanting or don't want to work these jobs? I believe a lot of Americans don't mind working these jobs. It's just a lot of Americans, homegrown Americans, can't afford to have kids. A lot of them can't afford to have kids, and this is becoming a major issue. In Canada, make it expensive. The locals can't afford to live. The locals in Canada, especially in Australia, they have less kids. The cost of living is too high. They can't live in the cities they were born and raised in. So bring in more other people to come in and do the jobs that nobody wants. What if we rephrase that and said, it's not the jobs that nobody wants, it's the jobs that people don't exist to take? Because that's actually what is happening right now. Our Canadian census, or our Canadian birth, is slightly up in the West in Vancouver because of birth tourism from China. If it wasn't for that, our births would be in negative territory. So they got to see how they basically push out the middle class as far and wide as possible. All right. Australia offering $2,000 incentive for regional workers. Again, lack of workers. Who doesn't want to work? That's the thing. Incentives and staff poaching are becoming rightful in the agriculture sector as farmers are desperate to get workers on the land for peak lambing and calving seasons. Remember, guys, it is going into calving season and all lambing and all kinds of stuff now in Australia because they're going into their spring season right now. The Australian government is offering up to $2,000 relocation assistance to Kiwis, so from New Zealand, and those with valid work visas to move across the ditch and work on farms in regional areas in Victoria. Payment rises with $2,430 bonus for 8 weeks of work. So you get a bonus on top of your 8 weeks of work that they need. So that's what's happening there. Victoria's Premier slams AG visa program, saying worker shortages being handballed to states. So this is the not so popular Dan Andrews here. And he goes into saying that the federal government says that the new visa would allow foreigners to work on Australian farms as well in forestry and meat processing and fisheries. However, it is not known which overseas countries will sign on, nor how soon the workers could arrive. So they have a big problem, especially with this BS COVID that's happening there with variants that don't even exist. Grocery shortages reported in Dundee supermarkets on day 2 of the alert level 4 lockdown. So this is coming out of New Zealand for you guys that don't. And New Zealand's been in this BS. Somebody coughed somewhere at some place, and then they ended up having to close the whole region for 7 days and the whole country for 3 days. And I think they've extended it for another week in New Zealand because I think somebody had a cough somewhere and that became a major issue. So there it is. Grocery shortages reported in Dundee. So they're blaming, obviously, logistically. We got photos of this from Greg Cook, who's on the ground in New Zealand for us reporting. He actually sent us footage of the bread aisle going empty and a lot of stuff. And again, it's logistics. And especially in Australia is a big issue with truckers refusing to go into certain cities now. Shoppers continue to report food shortages amid supply chain disruption. So, on Mike in the Night, we had Matthew on the show from Victoria, and he was telling me that trucks are banned from going to roadhouses. Roadhouses are truck stops that we call here. They're not allowed to go in, so they can't get in, get their fuel, go to the bathroom, use the facilities. They can't do that. So they're finding ways to disrupt the supply chain. See, the supply chain's strong. It takes a bit of you got to work at it really bad to destroy something that was good at one point. You know what I'm saying? All right, so there it is right there. And update: both Chili's locations reopen in Abilene after severe food shortage. So they had a sign on their door at Chili's: due to severe food shortage, our location's unable to open today. This shortage is due to our food vendor who was unable to supply us. We apologize for the inconvenience and should be open at normal hours. Thank you, management. So Chili's, both restaurants are closed, and this is just the start of, let's go over to McDonald's. McDonald's supplier halts milkshake mixed deliveries as Subway also reports food shortages. So a lot of people live off of fast food. McDonald's has been joined by Subway and Wetherspoons in struggling with food supplies to stores with shortage of lorry drivers, causing the disruption to continue. So drivers, are they not getting the jab so they can go to work? Are they refusing it? Are they standing up for their rights? Costco shoppers see toilet paper and water shortage amid Delta variant. Guys, don't panic about the Delta variant. There's no way to test for it. Toilet paper, again, remember the toilet paper wars we had in early 2020? What an embarrassment the toilet paper wars were back in early 2020. It's like, what is going on here? Anyways, guys, food shortages, nothing new. I found a Mike in the Night from 3 years ago. We were talking about food shortage and disruption actually, it was from 2016, where it's a disruption in the food chain. Guys, I got some good news if they've been following the channel for a while. Odyssey has been backing up all our Mike in the Nights. I spoke to somebody there. Good news. They're going to promote us on there. They're going to promote Mike in the Night. They're going to promote, I spoke to them twice, so I'm very happy with that. So if you want to see old episodes of Mike in the Night, they're just all over the place there on Odyssey. Episodes going back, the backgrounds are all cheesy, and that, we started out back in 2016 and kind of forecasting what's happening or where it's going to happen, and it's good to have a community to be part of. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, go over to Odyssey if you want to see our live streaming shows and videos like this. Link below in the description to our last mic in the night. Everyone's asking for the last mic in the night. They're like, did you do Mike in the Night this hour? We missed you. Where are you? We're on Odyssey. Thanks for watching, guys. Big hug. Food shortages coming your way. Comment below and let us know how it is in your local immediate area. Thanks for watching, guys. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.